Hey Dave, how's it going? Welcome, folks, to the show. Dave Kraus, everything good? Today I'll be wiring up your cables so I can have everything set up and boxed and ready to go for tomorrow. Hopefully, um, today I'm doing three others, just the final wiring. So I'm just doing the same thing here. Excuse me. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Looking forward to the weekend. And pretty soon I'll be heading off to the property again, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do as far as from my show is concerned from that standpoint. Because, well, let's just say when you don't have a when you don't have a well, I don't have a bench and stuff like that anymore, so I got to see what you don't have. I guess I do, with the computer. As long as I got the computer, I can access just about anything. But it would be nice to have everything handy. All right, so let's see here. Let's do one of these here. Good evening, Kevin. How's it going? And good evening, Dave, Big D. Excuse my lack of sleep. I don't know what to call it. It's just I'm a little on the tired side today. I'm doing my little thing here. All right, so let's do this one, and now we'll do this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Mm-hmm. And we'll do that. How's everybody doing today? How's it going, Paul? Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Bobby. How's everybody with doing with their CNCs? Anybody get out in the shop at all and do anything? I know it's been raining in lots of different parts of the country. I hear there's some kind of a storm headed our way. I don't know. Maybe our way, maybe not. You know how it is with their predictions. It's possible, maybe it might come if we're unlucky, yada, yada, yada. Laura, I believe it's called. Boy, times have changed. I used to, when I was doing Santa's Enchanted Forest, I I I would be on top of the weather daily. Daily. In fact, maybe even hourly, you might say. Because, all right, so Santa's Enchanted Forest, for those of you unaware, as most of you probably would be, it's a Christmas based theme park that we have every year here in Miami. Now, it's. Again, pardon my sleepiness. There's my clippers. It's basically, think of it's a fair. It is equivalent to a county fair in the amount of people that go there and it's held from Halloween through pretty much the first week of January. Can you imagine listening to the same 27 songs for 7, 8 to 9 hours a day, daily, every day from Halloween through January? So, needless to say, there's a few songs that that I still cringe at when I hear. But and it's been 2 or 3 years since I've had something to do anything to do with Santa's. Um, it's some rough stuff. Santa's Enchanted Forest is it's it's a shame that because of COVID killed Santa's. I mean, this year. I mean, they will be having they renewed their contract and they're going to get more whenever things reopen in bulk, then they'll be able to go back to business as usual. But until then, it's well, it's a shame because so many people in this community um, really look forward to that tradition. I know because I used to work there. I mean, I used to have 3 or 4 uh, gigs over there, joints, gigs. Yeah, I was my own. See, I wasn't a carny. I was a vendor. So there's a difference. Vendors got all their teeth. Sorry, bad joke, but it's a funny joke. Um. So what happens? Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do. Let's see. Let's put this one this way. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll do that. Want it all to look nice and neat. Okay, so I forgot why I was on the reason of Santa's, other than to say that unfortunately this year, it's gone by the wayside. But something reminded me of it, and I got to tell you, I'm very fond of the. I became. It's an extended family. The shop owners there, the even some of the employees. I mean, it was a fantastic place to be, and you could make some good money one year. You could lose thousands the next. Let me catch up on the comments here. Hello, 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 hello. And just had my shed shop delivered today. Ooh, 24 by 40. It's a now now Paul, is it it's a steel building type of thing, do it yourself, or what's the deal? Just out of curiosity. Uh, oh boy. Can't seem to, I got to get some coffee or something. But I'm in the middle of a show. Can't go get coffee. Should have gotten it before. Oh, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, let me close this up for the moment. Move on to the next one. Ah, wooden. Very nice, very nice. And so it came already put together in a crane with a crane and stuff. Just curious there. And perfect. almost perfect. Hang on a second. Oh. It helps if this thing gets placed in the proper location. I can fix that. Wooden shed. Gotta love it. Two halves, both 12 by 40. Ah, some assembly. Very nice, very nice. Pardon me, folks. Just doing a little bit of trim work on the panel. With my Radio Shack nibbling tool. Ooh, isn't that wonderful? Yeah, because I don't feel like taking it all apart now just to saw it, and frankly, I don't know where I put my file. So normally I just trim it with a file or something like that, but this is just as fast. Well, just about. And far less messy. And I don't even have to look. Let's see. This is called a nibbling tool. For plastic or metal, let me see if I can get the right light on it. There you go. You see how it has a notch? Well, you can barely see it, but basically it has a notch. If you squeeze it, it squeezes down, and basically, and it's got an angle. So it actually, well, it's a nibbling tool. Most of you guys are familiar with nibbling tools from working with sheet metal, if you are. And this is just the handheld version. And okay, let's put it this way. What I'm doing right now is I've got wood backing in the back, which is the exact length, but the plastic, for some reason or another, came out a little wonky. Doesn't matter because the edges are in the dado, but I'm not happy with it. So I trimmed it. So in essence, I was doing a very, very slow flush trim bit manually, 1/4 inch at a time. I don't want any of my boxes to be off. So let's see. Have my website bookmarked. Ah, sweet. That's good to hear. W4FEJ. If I assume correctly of what that letter means, you're speaking to KD4PFG. Wow, am I out of it? KD4 PAB. I got a buddy of mine and my call signs mixed up there. That's pardon me for that. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Russ just let me know he's working, so he may or may not be on the show tonight. I mean, may or may not be on later. Yeah, let me do it this way. Talk about a precision fit. Oh, there we go. Sweet. Okay. Anyway, next. Yeah, I normally use a quarter-inch backing, but it's a little thinner than quarter-inch normally, and so I went with 2 or 3 boxes. I went with the plastic sheet and the quarter-inch, but it's standard quarter-inch, so it's difficult to put the box on because the box is calibrated for the other one, and I'm not going to redo the whole design. And then with the later ones, what I'm doing is instead of the plastic, which is approximately 1/16 of an inch, I'm going with the metal fronts. They look the same with and the metal fronts, different technique of imprinting it. And that one's 1/32 of an inch. So, all right, let me neaten this one up. What do we got? Yeah, Bobby, the tool is made for exactly what Bobby said. The tool is made for metal. Normally, I mean, this tool for years, I've used it in. I didn't have a fancy square punch. And oftentimes, let's say, for instance, you have to do something like this, like, hang on. You see the insert here. I have to cut out a rectangle. So now, if I have a metal case and I got to cut out a rectangle, you know, you're not going to use what are you going to use? A miniature jigsaw or something? No, the easiest way is drill a couple of holes or one hole and nibble, 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 nibble. And you just, you draw your line and then you nibble right across the line and there it is. And then pop in whatever you need to pop in. It's for single jobs. It's not for it's for prototypes more than anything else, not for multiple jobs. For that, you don't need that. Okay. And good evening, Kevin from Philadelphia again. Paul, yeah, let me shoot you an email for me. Let's see. Just go to Paul, if you like, just use Javi's Woodshop at gmail.com. That's JAVIS Woodshop at gmail.com, and I'll get it. It's my public email that I pretty much block a lot of people, so it's a lot I don't worry about spam on that one. Okay, this is all set. I've got my fans already taken care of. Let me get my power supplies. All right. The other one goes that way. That's fine. So yeah, this is the first year and the only year. I mean, God rest his soul in his father, their father, the owner's father, and two others set up the Santa's Enchanted Forest close to 50 years ago, and it's been a yearly tradition. And in I believe it was 93. I don't remember exactly when. 93, 94. His father passed away. Their father passed away. The boys. I call them the boys. One's a year older than me. One's a year younger than me. Um, the father had three kids, and they are the owners of Santa's, and the two boys have been running it ever since. And I got to tell you, even when their father passed away, it didn't close. They are extremely committed to that park. Is a family park. They consider, being in on the inside, I know how dedicated those the owners are to the community, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, you're going to make your fair share of money, quite a bit of it, because you're running a park, and the gate is whatever it is. But that's not all that they're about. They don't they don't have alcohol in the park. They don't want it to turn into a a debacle at all. They want a wholesome family atmosphere, and that's what it's been for a number of years. And um, and hopefully it'll be for a number of years more. I won't be seeing much of it because I'll move. I'll come by maybe when I visit my parents during Christmas. I may drop by and say hello to the boys and the owners of Santa's, and uh, and uh, and visit maybe with the grandkids. But I got to tell you, it's I look at those things and I think, wow, it's so many years, and this is the first year it's ever not opened, and it really is a shame. I mean, it is what it is. You don't want, especially in that place. That place, oh my God, that would be COVID central because it is so crowded and put together. It's all teenagers. I don't think it would be harmful as far as deaths are concerned for the actual people there, because most of the ones that go in the evening and they're packed are teenagers. The families, they're all spread out, but when they get home and they infect everybody else, if that's the case, I don't know. So they decided to close it, for everybody's safety, and again, looking after the community. And I got to tell you, despite the fact that I suffered, I want to say suffered through that Christmas music, and I love Christmas, but suffered through that Christmas music year after year after year after year, because it's the kind of stuff that as a kid I loved Christmas music. Always a joyous time of the year, and always great to look forward to. And then when you're working at some place that has Christmas music, for the guests, whether it's a mall or something else, it changes. Let's see here. How long does it take me to build each unit? Approximately 20 hours of time. And now keep in mind, and I've said this many times before, this is not by any means my business. This is a service to the community more than anything else. And the only thing you're paying me for is my time, and very, very little at that hourly, because it's I have businesses that I run, and that's what well, I'm semi-retired actually, so basically um the need for money is not there and doesn't have anything to do with this. It's strictly for the joy of doing these things. If not, I wouldn't be on the air just doing these things. This is sometimes a problem I find that one brand of 542 of DM 542s has a little bit of a different socket than the other one. They're identical, and if you look at them, you go, you know what? There's no difference, except it's almost infinitesimal, and sometimes they tend to not click in perfectly. So I want to make sure I get the right one. So I will do so. The dimensions of which the dimensions of which rectangular hole are you talking about? Everything fits in a 12 by 12 by 5.5 box. And there we go. Perfect. Some hair or something fell on me, and it felt like more than what it was. The front panel connector. Okay, the front panel connector is, well, the outside is 5.5 by. You're talking about the entire front panel, or just the C14 plug, the power plug. Anyway, the entire panel is let's see, this is 12 by 5.5, so 4.5 by 11.5. No, 4 and 5.5, so it's 4 3/4 by 11 1/4. I had to think about it because I mean I trim them down all the time. It's handy because I used to be a sign and trophy guy, so I've got all the materials to put. Aha, that's not good. There we go. Make sure that's back in there. I've got all the tools to engrave, and by the way, every box is personalized, or will be if I can manage to catch up with the personalization, because I'm a little behind on that. Every box is numbered. Every box is tested. Every box is a higher quality than you would get, say, from the old now defunct Xylotex Corporation and other such things. A lot of research has been done and everything is power matched. The settings from the choice of driver to the settings on the driver matched with the power supply, matched with the motors, matched with the internal power supplies, matched with the controller. Everything is you do not want to mess around with that, or you're going to get just well, you won't get the maximum benefit out of any of that. Okay, this is all set. So now that I put it together, let me do a quick test, because as often happens, I mean, that's why we test them. As often happens, sometimes for one thing, you always get the well, it's never happened to me, but you get the occasional um, bad driver, occasional bad whatever. So basically, I mean, in a nutshell, if you were to do this yourself, you could basically save. If you were to go about and do it yourself, this is the bottom line. You're more than free to. There are tons of videos out there. It will take you approximately, as it took me for my first one, it would probably take you a week of research, maybe, to find the right ones, because there's no single list out there. Every single CNC is different. Or if you can find a list from somebody and do it exactly as theirs, which again gives you no guarantee, you know. Bottom line is you're going to have to do some research. There's some time spent. You're going to have to put it together. If you do the same thing I did, you're probably looking at initially 4 or 5 to 2 weeks work. I've had some of my customers have basically told me, I bought the parts, I spent 3 weeks, I couldn't get them running in the end because there were so many connections and they all had to be perfect, and the parts, and I don't know if I'm selling them all. Send me yours, and I did, and it happens more often than you'd think. So I save you the time, I save you the trouble, the frustration. You're looking at saving $300, maybe $200 if you buy the parts yourself. Add to that you have to buy that's just the basic parts, and then you got connectors, and then you got wires. If you want to customize the panel, make a box, now if you want to lay it out flat on a board, you could save a couple $100 by doing it yourself. You're still going to have to go through all the trouble. And if you're not sure of the electronics, that's not one thing that I'm an electrical engineer. Trust me, I've been doing this for years. That's not a thing that you just want to learn overnight. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, many people have. It's not rocket science, but nothing except for rocket science is rocket science. And honestly, I've flown rockets, so rocket science is not rocket science. All right, there we go. Get my test box out here. It's on red, green, and blue. So currently, I never like to quote how long it will take me to make one, because I could build one of these in 2 days, soldering all the connections. I'm talking about putting it on the CNC. 2 hours to cut the box. You got another couple hours to cut a panel, and then the back panel, and then the interior panel. You got to order all the materials. You got to bring all the materials in. You got to cut everything and solder all 231 connections. You got to test and calibrate the bootstrap power supplies, 24 volt and the 12 volt power supplies. You have to obviously make sure everything is right. Make sure all the pins are set to the proper settings. You have number of choices. You can go 400, you can go 4,000, you can go 6,400 steps per inch, steps per revolution. It's up to you how you design it, and then you have to program Mach 3. This is all plug and play. You buy it, you get it anywhere between, I usually say 4 to 6 weeks. Some people have gotten it in a week. Some people have gotten it in 6 or even 7 weeks. It's all about timing. I do them in batches. And then you plug it in, as I just finished plugging all these in. I'm going to plug in the power. Here's the power. Boom. This is what you do. You plug in the power. You plug in the USB connector to the computer. My computer's running Mach 3. Let me shift this to you guys so you guys can see the wonderful little test thing. That's my test box. And reset. Turn this on. Here are my motors. You can, well, you can't see them. Yeah, now you can see them. So, X, good. Y, good. Z, good. Straight out of the box. I know to listen to a sound where one or two connectors is off. Two connectors is off. I know whether they're miswired. I know what to do if they're miswired. So, but I've done it so many times. I don't want to say rarely fail, but okay, now I'm going to press my little test pattern. This is input number 1, input number 2, input number 3, and input number 4. So all the inputs are correctly wired and registering. Now for the outputs. Oh, joy. M3, which is output number 1. Yes. Output number 2. Yes. Output number 3. Yes. And output 4. I'm not getting voltage. See, there's always one thing. I'm not getting voltage on the spindle output. That's not a problem. Every one of these has 0 to 10 spindle output. Okay. All the fans are running. Everything's nice and quiet. Turn off, unplug. And why is that not working? I'm willing to bet that there's a solder here. Okay, so let me catch up on the... I like their website because they have a 3D shed building tool. Oh, that's cool. A better idea of what I wanted rather than going there with a napkin. Yeah. And it helps that you want to shop everything around, take the guesswork. Yeah. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Yeah. I mean, I'm having a steel building made on my property. I can't really do much as far as the steel building is concerned. Okay, wait a second. There it is. Power, ground. make sure my continuity checker. Yeah, I'm down in South Florida. We got there's a lot of stuff that we can't do as far as building. I mean, I can't order a shed, unfortunately, because our local codes won't allow it. I can't just order a shed and plop it on the property. The shed has to be certified and product approval control for 210-mile-an-hour winds in Miami, and in up where I'm living, it's I believe it's 150-mile-an-hour winds. And everything's got to be permitted. It's a little annoying, but it's all about safety. Okay, so that's there. And that's there. Bear with me, folks. I'm just looking at something here on the internet. Checking who this box belongs to. 40. Radio cable and limit switches. All right. Just got to make sure I know what I am sending out to this person. And let me try one more test here. And last but not least, I need to check voltage. Everything's got to be checked, my friends. Everything's got to be checked. I'm not letting any of these go out without a full checkup. Okay, that's 36 volts. $24 even. Perfect. Okay. Good to go. All right, so M5. Now, what was it? All right, so let me take a look here. Hey, Jim, how's it going? Another one heading out the door. And let's see, I've got one more up there. righty. Actually, let me go ahead and close this up. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? Good to see you guys today. I am considering getting a. There we go. Perfect. I'm considering a Hobby Box Facebook group for my customers in case. I mean, there's really it's a plug and play, and nobody's had any issues, and other than a couple of phone calls. How do you do this? How do you do this? So, really, what I'd probably best be doing is making a video of I don't know, 45 boxes out the door, and I haven't had any to tell anybody how to wire them. But I mean, it's all in the FAQs. But I suppose it would be nice and certainly comforting to see the whole thing. So, like I said, folks, I do things in batches. So now is when you're catching me here doing the final assembly of a number of boxes. So there's a lot of happy people today, or very soon, because they're going to be getting their boxes in short order. Okay, that. So all I got to do is start with this. Yep, getting the inventory cleared out. About time, huh? I still have, I got to put together 17 carcasses. I want to say carcasses, enclosures, because I did get ahead making them. Because I mean, it's not like they won't sell. They're selling, It's all about reputation. You guys have been watching me on Dave's show and stuff. And it's not like you're buying from an unknown person. Not to mention the fact that for the price, comes close, because I'm willing not to make a profit. And I doubt anyone will ever create anything like this because, frankly, there's no profit in it. It's pretty stupid to do so. Me, I'm having fun. This is entertaining. And if somebody does, then fine with me. I got to be building a house soon anyway, so. All righty. You sent me an email. Hang on, let me look, because I probably will catch it. Doobie-doobie-doo-wah. Perry. Nice. That is nice. Oh, that is sweet. Sweet indeed. Yeah. I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, that is a really sweet enjoy it in good health, and that's fun. It's nice to be able to have a your own shop or anything. I'm really looking forward to it, guys. It won't be much longer. A year from today, I expect in less than a year from today. Again, we don't know, but you will see me in my shop. Uh, it won't be. It may not be completed. Should be here. Maybe not. Maybe it'll all be done. But wow, I can't. Need to program my CNC to place the parts on the board and then get a wave soldering outfit. Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I've had so many suggestions as how to save time, and they all either involve not okay. For those of you that have seen the when I first started back in February or whatever, when I started putting these things together, you saw that the first prototype, because I started researching this from January, and the first prototype was very ugly. It was a time saver because everything was connected and I just had wires hanging out, just a bundle of wires. But really, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I mean, the Xylotex. Put some numbers out here for you. The Xylotex sold for $430. That's how much I bought my original. It's laying over here somewhere. Xylotex for. Now, add about $100 because the Xylotex has TB6600s and these are TB543s. You don't want 6600s. They burn out. They're not good. They're not practical. So now you're at 530. It did not have. It was parallel, so it's USB is a little bit more expensive, but we'll forget that for now. You needed a breakout. You needed to provide your own breakout board for inputs and outputs. You needed to provide your own circuit if you wanted to control a spindle. This thing's got built-in 4 inputs, 4 outputs, 0 to 10 volt output for spindle speed. Instructions on how to connect it to a VFD, which, by the way, Saturday's show is on how to connect a VFD, not just to the hobby box, to any box. So stay tuned. And so, I mean, 575 is what this is what the bare bones, if you want to call it that, what the box is running for, right? Which is not a bad deal at all. Now, add to that that and this is the part, again, I'm telling you guys, it won't be this way for long. I'm raising the price of the motors fairly soon. And I've done it before. I've raised the prices because this box started at $500, including motors, and I was throwing my money away. I was giving them away. So, that's never going to be seen again. But the motors are $40 to $45 each. And I've mentioned this before to you guys. So some of you know. The motors are $40 each, $40 each. For an extra $200, you get the motors pre-wired to the box. Okay, so with a good amount of cable on each one, enough for a 4x4 machine. Now, think about it. You got the motors. 4 motors, you buy them for $160. Now you got to buy wire. You got to solder the 4 wires on each motor. You got to solder the 4 connectors. And aviation connectors is not fun if you don't know how to do it. It's fun for me. For $200 is what I sell them for. So come on, that's a deal and a half. Again, so much so that I'm reconsidering it because all the work just to solder those 16 let's see, 32 connections is not worth $40 of my time. But for now, I got the time and I'm happy to help the community. So community, enjoy it while you can. And with that, I have another one ready to go. All I got to do now, yep, that's all good to go. It's all clear. Now we check. All right, folks, let's see the true. These have not been tested before. These are being tested right now as we speak live. And you know what happens when you do something live, something's bound to happen that's messed up. But let's see here. Hopefully, such won't be the case tonight. Yep. Spending time does mean spending money. Exactly. Now, you know, the whole reason I started this is not because people didn't know how to do it. It's not because there was an instruction out there. It's that because there was a large, well, like we're talking 60% of the DIY do-it-yourself CNC community that did not want to buy a CNC because they were, what's the word? Intimidated by the electronics. And I get it. Or they didn't want to do the electronics. It's a lot of work. And I like electronics. Dave Gatton said, hey, you know, you should think about this. You should think about it. For a year and a half, he's been pestering me. You should think about it until finally it just got through my head. And I go, okay, I got some time. Might as well. And I did. All righty. We are almost good to go. Just got to plug in my USB here. And again, we shall pull out the wonderful test thing and my computer, my little mini, and we'll do our tests. Okay, ready, folks? Reset. Turn it on. I hear that wonderful sound of the thing's gunk. And here we go. X, yes. Y, yes. And Z, yes. They're all running backwards, so I got to switch a couple wires. I could also click a software program, but here's the thing, guys. Every one of my boxes is wired identically the same way. For one reason and one reason, you can always go back to my website and pick up the two files, the profile for Mach 3 needed to run the to be up and running. If you screw it up and you mess something up, you can go back, reload, and you're done. All right, so M3, yes, and 9.6, that's well within acceptable limits. M4, yes. M7, yes. M8, yes. M9, shuts them off. And inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4. None of them shorted, all of them working. The only thing I got to do now is swap a few. Wait a second, they're yellow and black. What? Oh, I must have done it here, yellow and black. Okay, gotcha. Okay, no problem. Let me double check that though, because I'd hate to want to. Let me see. Left is right. Come on, reset. Yeah. All right. You can have any two: fast, inexpensive, or good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 100% correct, Jim. 100% correct. You could have it cheap, and even not necessarily fast or good, but you can have it cheap, you can have it good, or you can have it fast. Yeah, I'm. Now there are a few people, like I said, that just happen to have caught me when I had, one extra. Uh, I usually in a batch, I'll usually make one or two extra because I get about an order to two, maybe an order a week. You know, on average, about an order a week. So I usually make five a month, and usually the person, if he's lucky, as I'm finishing, the four that I ordered and I'm making, along with the fifth one, in that time that I'm creating them all, which is a good length of time. I mean, you guys have seen my show. You guys know what I go through. I'll spend here. I'll be chatting with you, but I'll be working the whole time, and I'll be soldering, and I'll be soldering, and I'll be soldering, and in the end, I'll have one piece of one of them done in 2 hours. Well, every now and then, you get that guy that's very lucky that catches me just as I'm finishing a batch, and got that one that he ordered it just as I'm completing a batch, so there'll be that extra one. Unfortunately, the next guy, and I'm sorry about that, but the next guy's going to have to wait 6-7 weeks because when I start a new batch, I place all the orders at the same time. They're all done in bulk, so I save you guys money. Because if I were to order these one at a time, there's another expense. You'll spend another $50 for each. Aside from that, I'm not going to make one because it'll take me 20, 30 hours of my time just to make one. Whereas if you divide the time, if I make them in batches, if you divide that time, I could probably make one a day. I mean, I could do, I've done 8 in a week, a batch of 8. But one, it'll take me 2-3 days. And, and that's me who knows exactly how to do it, where to wire it, what I'm doing, et cetera, et cetera. And where is my, oh, yeah, another one. Okay, so this is done. Just past the 9 o'clock hour. As I drop my motors, here we go. Luckily, I caught them. All right. Let me do a little motor testing because that way I could just go ahead and box them up. Can the box and the cables be ordered without the steppers? I already have 6 NEMA 23s. No, I'm sorry. I only do it the one way. Now, steppers run me. Well, see, I don't like to do this either. Sometimes what I do is, well, I'll tell you. Let me see what I can do. Hang on a second. If there's anything, stepper motors usually run me about $40 each, or 45 depending on the stepper. So, want to buy some 23s? I don't know. How much are you selling them for? Because, well, I'll tell you, I would if they would be at a decent price. I, because I, I don't. Even though I buy them for 40, I don't pay 40 because I've got about 2 dozen stepper motors here because I buy them in bulk. But give me a price, and then I'll you send me the steppers, and I'll knock down the price, and we'll talk. So that won't be that might be feasible. Save you some money. Assuming they're 425-ounce steppers, because I only use the 425-ounce NEMA 23s. The 20. I always got to read the number. 23 HE 45 4204S, whatever. Okay, so let's see here. Let's connect this back up. Make sure these work, and go to the next batch. Okay. Ho ho! I got an issue with one of these. The Z. That's a problem. Now I got to see what problem that is. I know what problem that is. Okay, so folks, I have encountered a wonderful little problem here. Well, NEMA 23s, the maximum is only 425. Now I got an issue with one of the stepper motors. So here's troubleshooting 101. This stepper motor, when I tell it to go one way, it goes this way. When I tell it to go the other way, it still goes this way. Ooh, that's a simple one. First of all, I put a little force on it to make sure that one of the 4 wires from the driver to the stepper was not defective, which it's not, or it would have stalled a little bit. It's the green, and sure enough, let's see here. It's the look at that. It's right there. There's a wire that's come off. It's the green for the direction. So the DIR, either the power or otherwise, was not properly connected. Guess what? It will be in a few seconds. And that is how to troubleshoot something when it doesn't work. Pull. Yeah, see, that one is not, I'm not comfortable with that. Let me strip some more cable from it. Shut this off. 23 HS 9430s. Oh, 9430s. No, I can't use those at all. If it's the one I'm thinking of. No, no, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me look at the chart. Wait. Uh, Motor length 90, raise, tip angle, phase, induction, holding torque. Oh, yeah, they're bigger. But, no, they're 3.0. That's good. What's the shaft diameter? Because all of mine are 10 millimeter. Let me see here. I mean, I'll tell you what I will do if you like to make it easy. I mean, you have the motors already, so what I'll do is I'll knock 160 off for the price that I would normally pay. It should be a little bit less, but I'll do you the favor because you're going to be paying shipping. You ship the motors to me, 4 motors. I don't need 6, and I'll wire them for you and send them back. And basically you. I mean, obviously the rest is the rest. So order the and if you want to do it that way, uh, I can always do that. Um, but let me double check those motors again, because hang on a second. Because I think those main hang on 9430s. Those are those are hybrid motors though. Are those uh, are those closed loop motors? If they are, they will not work with this system at all. Let me see here. Okay, so the rotor torque means more, but I don't see the 23HS. It's 23HS. What the hell is this? 4204s. Yeah, okay, 42. I don't have 4204s listed here. Hang on. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, is the manufacturer Long's Motors? If it is, there is no way, not even if you send them to me, that I'll do them. I do not want to deal with Long's Motors whatsoever in any way. I used to order those every now and then, and they all burn out. I do not like Long's Motors. If it is a Long's Motors, let me see. It's I'm still looking. Let me see. You read your comment. Not sure. Had them running on a bench with a breakout board and Linux. Okay. Let me see what we got here. I'm still looking for the. Okay, so here's the 42. See, now that one looks almost, but not quite identical to this. I'm looking at the electrical specs for the motors. Yeah, every single one of these is every one that I'm looking at is a closed loop motor. So that's a hybrid motor. Um, Let me see what I can. which means they won't work with this system because this is an open loop system. But let me check because again, I'm looking at different things. I cannot find one solid fact on this thing. Yeah, okay, I found it. It's from Adams. All right. Yeah, it's oh yeah, it's Longs. Okay. Yeah, it's what's your name by the way so I don't have to call you W4FEJ. Um it's definitely a it's a closed loop motor which if they still work and they haven't crashed, I say hold on to them because you could build something nice with them but make sure your stepper drivers match those. You have to have the stepper driver connected to the motors. You can't um, they won't work with these at all. This is an open loop stepper driver, but they're. I mean, I wouldn't say they're decent motors, but I don't throw anything away, so I'm one of those guys. So if they still work, don't throw them away. But I can't use them. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I mean, I have in the past. Uh, People have bought stuff and I've been happy to you know if it's something like if it's obviously if it was a tiny motor that didn't have the power, I while I can wire it, I wouldn't because your reputation is on the line, and then all I need is somebody. Even though they asked for it, all I need is somebody to say, "Hey, they wired this for me, and it didn't work." Well, yeah, I said it wouldn't work from the beginning, so don't tell me, you know. And but all right, now should run perfectly fine. Now let us see. This is the green one. That's not the green one. That's the green one. And one way and the other way. We're done. Okay, so left, right, left, right, left, right. Okay. One box. Oh, the 4 Longs access kit that I bought. Yeah, I know, Dave, but I've had a motor burnout. But either way, it's this one. This one won't work. The Longs 4-axis kit. Yeah, I remember the. Wait a second. You had a kit with 24 HS 9430 motors. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're steppers, but are they closed loop or open loop? Because these show open loop steppers. I mean closed loop. Well, regardless, I don't want to take a chance anyway. So, and I don't want to have you ship me a bunch of motors and possibly burn out a driver and have you have extra cost and expense when it's. But it's your call if you want to take the risk. I can do that too. All right, and motors. Be right back. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Red. Blue. It'd be a lot easier if this thing didn't weigh so much. These motors. But it is what it is. And Z. Have a good one, Jim. Good evening. Okay, you got it. I forgot. Let's see, Mike. I'll look out for your order, and if you put it in soon, you may actually be one of the lucky ones that get one extremely soon. Well, at the very least, well, maybe by the 25th. But if not, I go out and they come back on the 5th or 6th. So it might be I expect if anybody orders now, they'll get it by mid-September at the latest, which is fast. Let's see here. On end. Good. 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 You know, there's something to be said for experience because as I broke my headphones, something to be said for experience, folks, because I guess I've been doing so many of these. The first few, there was always some random, maybe 75% of them, 50%. Let me not speak because the next batch will probably cause errors, but I've been very lucky with the wiring as of late. There's another set of motors. And the last set that I have going out this week. There's going to come a time where I can't even lift these things. Alrighty. See what we got here. Green, yellow, blue. Okay, and red. Once again. Good. Good. Ah! Problem. See that? I knew if I'd say something, there'd be a problem. Okay, so left is this. See, folks, this is what happens every now and then, and it drives me up the wall. But, what are you going to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. Resolder. Every now and then there are some motors that come with the coils reversed or the wires reversed. Blue and green is always going to be, blue and red is always going to be one cable and black and green is always going to be the other. But sometimes they are just off. All it takes is to reverse a coil or one or two wires of those, and you end up with the motor in reverse. No big deal. Anybody can just do a setting on Mach 3, so it's not like it's going to be, but like I said, all my stuff goes out one way and one way only. So I want this to be perfect. Hate it when I drop a screw around here. The only thing worse than dropping a screw right under you is not being able to find it. Because it's so darn small. And I have a magnet. But no. They can travel. Looks like I'll have to get a bigger magnet. All right. Luckily, I've got more of those screws. Ugh. Quite upsetting, really. Okay. Red. Yeah, see, this was wired exactly correctly. And sure enough, it's not running correct. So the easiest solution is to take two wires and reverse them, which is not the easiest solution when you shrink wrap everything. You know what? I'm just gonna resolder them here. It'd be easier. Wow, this guy must be awesome at wiring aviation connectors. If he thinks that resoldering two wires on an aviation connector is easier than swapping two wires, and I do. Just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes. All right, so. Ooh, look at that. Nice and easy. Almost up to speed. Or up to heat. Yeah, so what I'm going to do after this is the last thing I'm going to do tonight, guys, is solder up a few wires for my friend Dave Krause there, because he's ordered some wires, custom lengths, so I will do so. There's one. Ow! Yeah, gotta watch that solder. And here is the other. Okay, perfect. Good to see. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not in a hurry, that's no biggie. And it'll come when it comes, but I'll try to make it as quick as I can lately. I'll be just like new. Um, my my website says a parallel interface. Let me know where that is because I originally started with an option for parallel or USB, and immediately I took off the parallel because it was not worth it. It is only USB. Um, so wherever you see parallel, yeah, I'd like to know about that because I got to get rid of that. I got to take a good look at that. And thank you for being the first one that caught it because I can't believe Uh, well, I could believe it. I mean, specifically, is it on the on which page, which section, which item? And I'll take a look at that. Okay, so let's see. We have here one more time into the fire. There we go. Left, 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 right, right, right. Alrighty. These are ready to go out. This is ready to go out. The 875 price is for the Javi box with the motors and cables. For no, I'm sorry. The 775 is for the Javi box and the motors, all wired up. The 875 price includes the limit switches, the probe, and an e-stop. Limit switches, probe, e-stop. Yeah. So which is normally like 50 or $50 each. So you get $150 for 100, whatever. All again pre-wired. So the e-stop, your limit switches basically will they're 12, 12, and 6 foot. They're connected to each other. They all have the connectors on them. Everything's pre-wired. All the switches, things like that. But with the 775 one, you get I went to store and the title says USB, but the text says parallel. Okay, let me take a look at that right now. Thanks for the heads up there. Let's see, store, and then USB. I click on it. Wow. Yeah, thanks again. Let me do that. Let me fix that real quick. Wow, I can't believe that. Yeah, that's what I get for cutting and copying a bunch of stuff originally. Let me go back to. Yeah, I had a couple people correct, and I mean it's very rare because I'm a grammar Nazi, but I had a couple people correct spelling and certain errors, and that happens on my frequently asked questions. But I guess nobody ever bothered looking, and quite a few people purchased, but nobody ever bothered looking at the actual um, products. Let's see here. So it would be under commerce, inventory. Yeah. Advertisements. Okay. All righty. I'm hoping, well, I just finished updating it. I'm hoping that one was the only change, but we'll see what happens. Home, store, click on the item, USB. All right, pre-wired, please understand. Okay. Yeah, that a lot of people are all or nothing, and I get it, and I understand. That's why I figure out. And I don't want to give them more than three choices because then it starts getting really really confusing. It's look either now. There are additional accessories. You could look at the website all you want. Like for instance, if you want your router to be controlled remotely, on and off, that's I don't know, 50 or 75. That's a router box. I don't have one here handy, but man, do I have no? It's a router box controller. You could see a picture of it on the site. It plugs into input number one and output number one. And what happens is when you saw that little red light turn on, basically there's a relay and it'll turn on your router. You plug in your power for your router. If you're going to use a router, if you use a VFD with a spindle, the Javi box is capable of 0 to 10 volts and all that, but you'll need a cable for the spindle. Some people have routers, some people have spindles, some people don't want any of that stuff, so that's an option. The only other option I could think of is, and then other than that, there's a manual box if you have a VFD that connects. And by the way, I'll be doing that on the show Saturday. I'll be showing you all how to wire your own switches and stuff like that, or the Hobby box, whichever you prefer. It's easier if you buy your own switches if you're an electronics kind of guy, and you can remotely control your spindle or router and stuff. Well, anyway, so that's that. And yeah, like I said, I didn't want too many choices, but I figured these are the things that most people will eventually get on their limit switches. For me, I mean homing switches. For me, they're indispensable. An e-stop is always nice. My opinion, stick it up high so you don't bump it with your knee and accidentally mess up your cut, and up high close enough so when you're leaning on the glass enjoying your CNC cutting and it makes a wrong move, you hit that thing not as fast as you can break a bit, but pretty fast. It's always the way it happens. And yeah, and the touch plate, the touch plate, I mean it's great for I'll it's great for zeroing out Z. Hmm. Okay, cables. Or rather, four. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. And cannot believe that I dropped that screw right, I mean, directly below me. Can't find it. Can't find it for the life of me. Magnet? Nah, doesn't help. Do I ever sleep? Well, I've always slept very little, but I sleep about 6 hours a night, usually from um I want to say from midnight to 6, midnight or 1 to 7, but it's usually 2 to 8 recently, and but yeah, it's I mean, during the day, I've got my regular businesses that I got to contend with, the family, getting stuff done on the new house, and as long as you realize that in a little block of time you can get a lot done, well, you can do anything. Sweet. I already tinned this one. Awesome. All right. Now to tin some connectors. Well, might as well put the camera in a more interesting angle for you folks. Zip. And where is my... Hang on. I gotta grab my wonderful clamp here. There you are. And get this out of the way. That helps. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I'm I want to call it semi-retired because I really the businesses run themselves, so I'm you know just about on the tail end of all of that because pretty soon I'm not going to sell the businesses because I mean it provide a good income for myself and my eventually my kids. But yeah, it's it's good to be on the um, looking back down end of life. Don't get me wrong. If somebody were to offer me tell me, hey, you want to go back in time, know what you know now, and be only 20 years old, I'll take them up on it in a second. Well, provided my wife can come along. Yeah, that's the only problem when you got kids and a wife. Well, that's a lot tougher decision than the than you think. All right, so here we go. Let me go grab my some wire here. Oh, luckily I don't have much left. Okay, what did he need? Okay, so I know I got a message from him. Ah, yes, it was an email. Good. No, it was a message. Okay. Okay, here we go. 12 foot for the A, so 10 foot for the X. Let's meet the X one first. Okay, X it is. And this is the fun part of the, and I say that extremely sarcastically, the fun part of the soldering is is the carpal tunnel that develops when you are twisting wires all day long. Every one of these wires, people think, oh yeah, I can solder 250 connections, no problem per box, but it's not just solder, it's strip, it's trim, it's twist, it's I wish there was a I really wish there was a tool that would I know there's a few tools out there that'll um strip, twist, and put on crimping connectors. Those are pretty cool, but I don't need a crimping connector on there. I need you know, I'm doing an aviation connector, so that's not exactly the easiest thing to put on. Not exactly the easiest thing. Okay. Now, the most important thing, and I stress this on just about every show. First, you put your connector in the wire before you solder the wire. And likewise, if you happen to have like in this case, you need a heat shrink, then by all means, put that in there as well. Okay, so that goes in, that's red, so that's red. As I hit the camera with my head, that's not a good thing. Well, folks, it's about that time of night. Well, actually, mind people still watching. But I guess I'll just finish the last four connections. I mean, the last four of these things and give myself a little while longer and call it a night. But oh, I just realized something. This is X, not Z. So let us make a minor adjustment, which is not going to be a problem. And that is doing one of these things. Yeah, no longer green, now it's red. Just like that. Magic. Okay. Yeah, maybe I will call it a night. It's yeah, it's 10 o'clock. It's a good time to quit. All right, so folks, I will bid you all a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go ahead and knock off the last three of these cables and sometime tonight, and good to go. We're all good to go. So you guys all have a wonderful evening. Thank you all again for dropping by. And tomorrow's show is going to be on VFDs. It's a lot less formal. It's the scripted show, so I will look forward to hopefully seeing you there. And you see here, move the camera to here, and so good night, all. Thanks again, and have a wonderful evening.